Hold tight.
Hold on to your hats, boys.
Libers.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to another episode of the Wednesday Week.
A little bit old for you, but
We're that deep into Danny Roll. Please don't.
Been truly horrific having this season away from home.
I want goals.
Anyone would think that we rehearse this, and I guarantee that we haven't.
How poor do we have to be before it's happy? How much blood from this stone does he have to get?
The Wednesday Week.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to another episode of the Wednesday Week. Joining me tonight, I've got Ash, John, and Simon as we try and get through the games against two stinging animals in tonight's episode of Stung. We've got a 1-1. I was going to say we should call that a 9 goal thriller and an 8 goal thriller, but we'll see how we go from there and see what's happening. Don't forget, if you're out there in internet land, you can get involved and you can join in with the comments, and we will endeavor to put them all up on the screen because Ash is the babe in the booth this evening. Chaps, how are we all feeling? Is everybody all right? Ashley, how was your week? All right, pal? It's Monday night, back at work, back grafting.
Yes, mate, fantastic if you take the football out of it, aren't you? Great weekend. and we've said that many a time over the years. But yeah, mate, yeah, all good. Good to be talking with you guys.
Well, of course it is. Of course it is. John, shitty weekend for the Dolphins and for Sheffield Wednesday. Not a great sporting weekend for us, was it?
No, not really. I mean, just had a week off as well, so we're hoping to round it off nicely with a positive result for Wednesday and Dolphins, and got neither. So there you go. Back to work.
It was looking there, and only a 61-yard field goal can actually ruin your day, can't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And what about you, Simon? Long time no speak. How's it going? I can see you there. You're in the bar. Tell me about that tap that you've got behind you on that beer unit there. Is that a Sheffield Wednesday branded?
I've got
tap.
Yeah, I've got two. I've got the old badge, and I've got the new badge on my two taps. Currently left winter and left on supply. So yeah, all good. So that one got a rate hit on Saturday night, and I woke up with a stonking hangover yesterday morning.
I can imagine Sunday was a write-off for a number of people across S6. Now, lads, we Matt Strickland's been on. He says, "Do we have any other flying insects left to play?" Probably. Depends how you see canaries. That's a good gag. I'm having that one.
That's a bird, not an insect, isn't it? Though.
Yeah, the flying rats.
A lot of birds, though, don't we?
Bluebirds
and all that.
The robins. It's great for the ornithologists. Is the championships now?
Maybe we'll draw Barnet in the FA Cup. We can go and play at the Hive.
The Swans.
Now, as you can tell, we are farting around the poo because there's not a lot of joy in any of this episode. So what we're going to try and do is try and keep you entertained. Now, Tuesday night in the League Cup saw the Wednesday go down the road from where I live. 24-minute walk, lads. It took me to get back. Great evening. I felt that it was a decent tie. Well, it was for me, I'll not lie. The turnout was absolutely incredible from the Sheffield Wednesday fans for a Tuesday night League Cup game. Fair play, boys. You're absolutely incredible. Like the Wednesday fans that went down there was a lot more than what I anticipated. And going into it, Simon, it wasn't really a glamour tie for yourselves based up north, was it?
No, the only thing that was a draw for me, if I'd been able to go, was the new stadium. It would be one ticked off the box. So I've been to the old stadium, but I've gone past it a lot on the train line that runs by the side of what's it called? G-Tech. Is it G-Tech Stadium?
G-Tech. Yeah, it's
G-Tech.
West London, bro.
Oh, right, okay, fair enough. It's an oddly shaped stadium on one end.
Yep.
It's like the architect slipped with his pencil and drawing it, and they
honestly,
just made it like that.
It looks like a third-year diorama. You know what I mean? Like with all the different color seats and the weird edges in it. I assume that's in case they want to build it bigger. It makes it easier for them to do so, but I'm unsure. And if you remember, Brentford used to have that row of seating, they had a block that just faced. It was kind of in the corner, but it faced directly down one of the sides of the stadium. It was dead weird. I don't know if anybody remembers that. But yeah, what was your thoughts prior to it, Simon? Decent tie? Do you think it was winnable?
Yeah. they were probably, if we were going to draw a Premier League team, the probably the least glamorous out of all the Premier League teams to draw, weren't they? And they're always used as this shining light of how Wednesday should have set themselves up to get into the Premier League, because obviously I remember playing them in the playoff semis many years ago, and they sort of disappeared into the ether, and then obviously they've gone straight past us into the Premier League. But it'd have been nice if it'd been a London jaunt, it to have been at Tottenham or Arsenal or one of the other larger teams, so to speak. No disrespect to Brentford, but if I'd been able to make it, I would have gone, but I didn't. So I couldn't, and I didn't.
Well, I did, and they made me walk around the stadium round one way and then round the other. So, fuck those guys.
So that's a bit like Wimbledon a few years ago then, isn't it?
I swear to God, Simon, when I asked the geezer, I said, where's block H? He said, that way. I walked round the stadium. I got, well, you can't get through there. Now, bear in mind, I'm at G, and he made me go the other way around to get to H. I was, honestly... The man got significantly telled by a significant amount of Yorkshire folk. And when I'm a big guy, right? When you stood over a little Indian man just screaming at him, people tend to raise an eyebrow. I'll not lie. It's kind of a whole thing. John, let me get into the lineup. I've got a graphic ready. It's a beauty. We've got Charles Lowe, Iorfa, Otabeo, Johnson, Fusira, Patterson, Ingleson, Masaba, Gassama, and Ugbo. Now, a lot of that team is very much our cup squad, as it were. It was a cup game. It was a cup squad. Did you feel like Brentford could have been there for the taking had we started with our normal starting team? Or do you feel like, they've earned it, give them a run out?
It's a good question, because in hindsight, you think we might have been able to win that game with our strongest team. And clearly Thomas Frank were taking it serious, because that competition represents a good chance for Brentford to go far. So fair play, on his side, he's taking it serious, unlike some of the bigger clubs that will come into the fold later on. But yeah, I suppose in hindsight, if we put a stronger side out, you never know. But I think it was also a good opportunity for the likes of Otabego and Fusaya, and however you pronounce it, to stake a claim to be more involved in the match day squads, because they don't always get on the bench, those two lads, do they? So I weren't expecting much, if I'm honest, fellas. I think it's not been a happy hunting ground since Brentford became, like, I call them new Brentford, because they're not like the old one, like you said, the Griffin Park Brentford that were not really doing much at all, were they? Yeah, I mean, but since they went on that, ethos of what they were going to do and Moneyball the club and all that lot, they've completely turned it around, and we've had some dreadful days down there. And I think under Gary Monk, I think the game was gone by half time. We ended up losing 5-0. So it's not been a happy hunting ground. I think the last ever game at Griffin was us as well, wasn't it? Last home game. I think we got tonked there as well. So I wasn't expecting a lot. I thought Roll was just going to put some of the younger players out just to rotate the squad, keep the legs fresh, and wasn't really expecting much at all, if I'm honest.
No, me neither, especially from that lineup as well. Ash, have you got anything to add about that lineup? Because I must admit, I felt a little bit aggrieved to some respects. Like John says, right? This is benefit of retrospect is a wonderful thing, but there's an element of this was a good chance for us to progress in the competition. I thought, Brentford's a difficult place to go, but I feel like with our first 11, there's always a potential there of doing what we did against Newcastle and Arsenal, albeit those games were at home. Did I want to see players like Otabeo and Fusira up against a Premier League team? No, I didn't. And I feel like a lot of people making that big journey down south to get there and have the reserve squad out. Would you have been annoyed, or would you have understood it?
Well, with hindsight, if you put your first 11 out, it could have been 6-2, couldn't it? So I think the second 11 did really well against Brentford.
They did.
I think if you look on social media, people say I'm going down to Brentford. The team comes out, and I think Brentford played 6 of the team that started the Premier League game the week before, or the game before, should I say? And they've got that. I pronounce Mbuemo. The guy who Johnson pocketed, to be honest, of 50 odd million pounds worth or whatever. But you look at the team and you think, I think people did say, "Oh, look, we're on for a bit of a hide in here." And you look and you go, I think everyone's got two thoughts: is do you go for the cup, so you play your strongest, or do you think actually the league for us is probably the main thing? Stick a change of 7-8 people, keep a couple in there, and play a cup squad, and that's what he did. And to look at it, you're thinking, I'm all right with that, because even the players that played, they are championship players, and they should be able to hold their own, which they did. I was all right with it, to be honest. I was all right with it. I'm not. I don't think the League Cup. I'm not one for the League Cup. I know everything. I'm more an FA Cup guy. You know, the magic of the FA Cup. I'm not really that bothered about the League Cup. So, yeah, I don't blame Danny for picking the team he did, and he was quite justified in the end, wasn't he? So.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Now, it was a decent first half for Sheffield Wednesday, Simon. I felt like we turned up. We did a solid job. I thought that the goal we conceded was a tad unlucky, especially on. I think there was a bit of a ricochet back and forth, and then it kind of ended up in the net. And what was that player you referenced earlier, Ash? What's his name?
Mbuemo.
Mbuemo.
Is that it? Right.
Yeah.
He's not a very good footballer. He's very quick and very clever, but in terms of actually kicking the ball, he's bloody rubbish. And it kind of dawned on me that that's what Premier League footballers are now. They're not exactly gifted footballers, are they? You know, we look back at players like David Hurst or Paolo Di Canio and Benito Carboni, who were gifted footballers. He was just a quick lad. And but the way they moved as a unit was absolutely beautiful. There was points where, you know, we could have a corner, and when in 2 or 3 kicks, there's 8 of them, you know, in our half. It was absolutely incredible. What's this? What's Ben saying here? Shocking opinion.
I think he's on about Mbuemo, who's probably scored. I think he's in double figures for the season in the Premier League or something.
Right.
I think that's what Ben's on about.
Listen to me here, right? The geezer is lightning quick, and he's very clever. The way he can loop his run is very good, and he kept bearing down on Pierce Charles for a lot of that game. But in terms of actual striking the ball and kicking the ball and being gifted with the football, he's not very good. It did nothing to show me how good he was. Geezer's clever, Geezer's quick.
I think you're doing Johnson a disservice, because I think Johnson played really well against him.
And he did.
Yeah. So I think it could be more of that Johnson had him in his pocket and he didn't know what to do to get round his man. Yeah, maybe, yeah. Because if you're 50-odd million pounds, you'd want to get past a guy who nearly left for Ipswich for free. Or whatever it was. Yeah.
Johnson made him look like Kinder Mbuemo.
Yeah, Kinder Mbuemo. We should have had that in the name of the show. So, Simon, yes, that first half kind of, you know, 1-0 went in at half time. It went, you know, we didn't look like we were going to get battered to some extent. We knew it was going to be difficult, but I didn't feel like we were on the back foot constantly. What did you think?
No, it's always going to be difficult, isn't it? Because we have, as we'll lead into, a little bit of history over the last 12 months of shipping goals. So when you go in to play a Premier League team, I think there's always that nerve in regards to the fans. There's that nervousness that, you know, we're playing a Premier League team here. And yes, you've got a £50 million striker, winger, whatever he is, you know, who's in double figures already. You just tend to think the worst is going to happen. But, you know, we acquitted ourselves well. But I think we spoke about it off air. Was it the cat playing with the sparrow that's broken its wing and it's just playing with it? Was there always the element of the fact that there might have been another gear that Brentford could have gone into?
Yeah, there was. But they didn't get into it. They've got a kid in the, I want to say he's on the right wing or in the middle of the park, little centre part, Scandinavian looking fella. What a baller he is. Absolutely incredible footballer. But I always felt that they had somewhere else to go. You know what I mean? They had another place to go, but for some reason they didn't manage it.
No, who knows about that, because they got there in the end with penalties, didn't they? But maybe that is the arrogance of a Premier League team. I don't know.
Yeah, there's an element of complexity could fit in. Now, John, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to get you to talk about this, but that was another poor performance from Anthony Masaba. Another good few times where he went tearing in the first and the second half, where he's gone tearing in and just didn't either hit the byline and get it in the mixer, old school, or even put it in from the edge of the 18 onto the back beans on toast, like what everybody plays nowadays. That was a lot of cliches all in one sentence. Bit of a rough period of form for Anthony Masaba, right?
Yeah, he just can't seem to make the right decision in these key moments in games. When he should shoot, he crosses, and when he should cross, he shoots, and it's like he's got the boots on the wrong feet at times, isn't it? And also I'll never, discourage a player from being positive and running at players, but the times he ends up just falling down or being has his pocket picked or in possession, it's just alarming, really. And I think Gassama's a bit like that as well, but although I think Gassama's now playing the better football of the two right now. I think there's no question about that. But yeah, Masaba is just, I expected him to kick on after last season, having a fresh season under Danny Rule. And at the moment, I just think he needs to settle it down a bit. And maybe some of the senior players can take him under his wing a bit. But the trouble is, Dan, we've got no talisman. We've got no real sort of like we're a side that struggles for goals anyway. So, and we struggle for that. In the final third, it's often lacking there. That it's not quite right. The ball's not there. The people aren't gambling and making runs into the box. So, if you're in a game against Brentford where you're not going to get many opportunities, you've got to be better than that. And I think he'd have to be disappointed with his personal performance against Brentford for sure.
But it's been a couple of weeks now, and I think Sharman's just written in there, Ash, that both him and Gassama need to come up with an end product. And I think you're right. I think it's interesting. I'd love to know what they've been told, because I feel like the wingers of old that go marauding down the line and then hitting the byline and sticking it in. I think they've gone. They kind of cut inside. And now you've got left footers playing on the right and vice versa, and they get to the edge of 18 and they're meant to bend it round into the back stick, and it's just not happening. There's a lot of farting around the poo and then hitting the deck, or like you say, getting his pocket picked. But the fact that they're so similar as players, I find really interesting, which makes me feel like it might be a coaching issue rather than, we can't have two players that play exactly the same as that. Is that something that they've been told, or have they gone, if you've got an opportunity, take a run in, and they feel like because they're footballers who believe in themselves that they could take a touch and get in there, and it's just not working. Ashley, anything to add on the first half?
Yeah, because right, here's one. I think Ben is going to probably comment on it because he thought your opinion was bad, but I think I might get pelters for this one. But I'm going to say it because that's what we do. We tell it how it is and everything. I think Bayo was at fault for the first goal. Sorry. So if you watch it and he slides in, if he stays on his feet and trusts Charles to make the save, he gets the rebound. He slides in, it comes off him, and the geezer taps it in. So that's my take from the first half. And I know a lot of people did give him props for the game. I personally was a bit thing with him, but look, I don't know football, and obviously being on this gives me the platform to air my shite views. But that's it. That's what I had from the first half. I didn't think Bayo came out of that with any much thing at the first half. Obviously, much improvement.
I think through the entire game, I think he played okay. I wouldn't go as far as saying he had a banger. He had a banger for a young kid who's breaking his way into the team. In terms of a football player on that pitch at that moment in time, he played okay. You know what I mean? I feel like Dominic Iorfa got a comment there saying he was closest to the play than Iorfa. Again, I thought Iorfa had a solid game. He looked really steady in some bits, but in other bits he looked like a daddy long legs on a urinal in the summer. So we're going into the second half. Then not really. Danny didn't shuffle his pack at all just yet, did he? Everything came out as it was. Ike Ugbo not really getting much, living off scraps. Simon, at this point, did you feel like we could go somewhere with this?
We certainly looked tighter. We looked like we're giving them more of a game. You you got to think like you alluded to, that this is a team of players who are probably hungry to try and prove themselves. Danny Rule has used this competition, hasn't he, as a starting block for a lot of the players to try and get into the first team. And I think there's no more player than Callum Patterson to be angry about the fact that he's not getting into the first team.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's making some of these players hungry to get into it, then I think all well and good. So yeah, we there was a point where you think he's going to start bringing the old guard in and try and level it up, because we were, I would say, match them, but we were stopping any sort of more attempts on goal. And he's done that before, hasn't he? Towards the end of games where we've been one down, stuff like that, he sort of thought, right, let's level it up a bit now. We did it at Grimsby, didn't we? I mean, I know Grimsby aren't Brentford, but we changed it up and we got a great result after that, didn't we? So, it was a lot better second half than the first.
Yeah. Now, got to give props to Captain Patterson here, John. I felt like he wore his heart on his sleeve and did really well. Now, I mean, had a decent game by all accounts as well, right?
Yeah, I thought he did. I thought he was an effective player for us. And like Simon said, he's clearly frustrated. He was told earlier in the season that his game time would be limited, but he took it on the chin and he's waited for his opportunities to come along, which have been, quite few and far between. And then when the opportunity has come along, like it has done with Brentford, he took it. He took the challenge on. I thought it was a good player for us, and I think Pato just gives you something different. He just gives you that good old fashioned physical centre half.
I don't think players like Mbuemo and Fabio Carvalho have ever come across a Callum Patterson before. They're like, what how do we play against this? Yeah. This is mental.
Exactly, yeah, because he's just old school. He'll get under your skin, and I think every team, especially in the Championship, you still need a player like that, because too often they try and emulate what's going on in Premier League, and then everybody's playing fancy formations and changing, like you said, they're going for these funny formations and changing to cams to different names and stuff like that, and it's just like, it's 46 games in Championship, and it's the most open league in the world. Every now and again, you're going to come up against a team that's better than you, and what you're going to have to do is just get physical with. That's what Millwall did to us earlier on in the league, and I think we just you need a couple of players like that in your side just to get under opposition's skin and just generally be a bit of a twat, really. You know what I mean? So and I think Patterson does that, and he does it really well. And fair play to him. I think some crowd gave him some stick, and he shouted something back, something about being fat, didn't he, or something? And it went all over social media. Some
I'm already overweight. I'm knackered, or something like that, didn't he?
Yeah. So I thought Pato did well, and it was good. It was good to see him getting some game time. To be fair,
absolutely. All right then, Ash. Tell us about the goal, and then get into some comments for me, because I thought we were somewhat fortunate with the goal.
You think?
I'd say so. But it's always nice to have that little bit of luck, isn't it? Got to have it sometime. And their keeper, I mean, he rolled it out, didn't he? And just thing is, you've just said about the first half, and you've just spent 30 seconds, a minute about Gassama. Actually, that's probably one of his, apart from his goal at Coventry, this pattern of play was probably one of his best this season. Purely that he saw the danger, made a tackle, intercepted the ball, picked it up, run, and then just hit it quite early, caught the keeper on his back heels, and it was a great strike, great finish. And I tell you what, it's not like we deserved it. It's not like we didn't deserve it. I think the slice of luck and the way we'd played in the first half, it was something that out of nothing that we deserved. And then once that gone in, the goal gone in. I think Brentford had two shots. I think Pierce Charles saved one in the second half, and that was about it. And like you said, that Kinder Bueno or whatever it was, John called him. It was pocketed by Johnson, and
it was.
And it was a. I think they made a couple of changes as well. I think I've got it here. Damsgaard come on. He's cost 20 million. I think he cost as well. So he came on.
Wisser, he came on as well. Didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah. it was fantastic bit of play second half, and we deserved it.
Yeah, absolutely. What's the interweb saying, Smash? Give us some comments from the great unwashed in internet land.
Sharman says, "King of the shithouses are Pato." Richard Evans, Pato can be effective in the same way toilet duck is effective in a toilet, but you don't want to add it to your cocktail.
That's the best way I've heard Callum Patterson ever describe it, if I'm honest.
Sorry, done with that. Lewis Jordan, I think Danny doesn't appreciate how much of a change a player like Pato can do. Someone to grab the game by the scruff of the neck and become a nuisance for the opposition. And I think I'm not speaking, never speak for Wednesday fans, but I'm sure a high percentage of fans recognise that as well. I think they recognise the utility player that Pato is. Yes, he's not going to be probably hitting one from 30 yards. He's not going to be taking that many men, but he's going to put you a shift in. He's going to be there. He's going to put his heart and soul into that. If it's 5 minutes, I think Coventry came off at last 5 minutes. Whoever it was, do you know what I mean? He put himself about a bit.
Do you remember Norwich? Was it Norwich last season where we
Norwich
were
and
2-0
Smith
down?
came on?
Yeah. And in fact, I think when he came on against Burnley, he made a right nuisance of himself earlier on this season for only 10, 15 minutes. And it does. Yeah, absolutely.
Gary Spooner, role is only interesting how fast they can run, not whether they can play. He's a statsman, not a manager.
That's what I said about Mbuemo, Kinder Mbuemo. And I tell you what, I've also got to get a big shout out to Richard Evans as well, who's actually made Ash genuinely laugh with the toilet duck cocktail comment. That's actually that little smile on your face, Ash. I hadn't seen that in years.
It's only because I think I might have drunk that on Friday night in Portsmouth. I think that cocktail.
Definitely, mate. Definitely. So at the end of it, we had went to penalties, Simon. I tell you what, they smashed out some great penners. They were very good penalties. And then up stepped Paulie and Palmer, bless him.
Yeah, but he put his name on the list, didn't he? It takes a lot of balls. I remember a certain, what was it, £11 million striker refused to take a penalty a few years ago, didn't they?
I know that sounds... I always feel like that taking a penalty is like a handshake before a football game. You know what I mean? It means nothing when you do it, but when you don't do it, it means everything. Like refusing to take one, like you were referencing Jordan Rhodes then. If we'd done... Are we still in the realm of back of a fag packet writing down 5 people who volunteered? Does that
you'd hope not, wouldn't you? I mean,
we're practicing it now and working out how it works.
It was well documented, wasn't it? Whether the thing at Hillsborough, we'll not mention it because you hate it being called what it is, but it was well documented, wasn't it, that they practiced penalties before that game. And it's been well documented for years that England practiced penalties after the shambles against Germany on numerous occasions. So you would hope that, yes, it just becomes naturally a part of the training game is practicing penalties, especially now when I think all cup games go directly to penalties now, don't they? So the likelihood of taking a penalty in both the League Cup and the FA Cup this season, obviously not in open play during a normal game for a Sheffield Wednesday player, but in cup games we're going to be taking penalties. So yes, you'd think they'd be practicing them.
It looked like it. I mean, 4 out of the 5 looked like they practiced penalties.
Yeah.
And even the Brentford penalties were spot on. I mean, I made a comment before we come on air that I think Pierce Charles only went the right way once for one of their penalties. And that is either because he had I looked as well when we were taking, he's got the water bottle, he's got the little stickers on his water bottle. I noticed that. So whoever's done his homework for him got it totally wrong. So
sure that wasn't just a barcode. The barcode sticker.
Yeah, left the price on from the shop.
Tell you what.
Chad Series charged him 10 quid. The second choice
coming soon.
15.
I tell you what, I do need to temper a few things though. So at the end of the game, unfortunately, somebody had to miss. It was Liam Palmer with I thought was quite a poor penalty, but we lost 5-4. We lost 5-4 on penalties after a very spirited 1-1 draw against the Premier League team. Great great piece of, a great moment to get into the head, get behind you, and really make sure you can channel that energy going into the weekend game, really with your tails up, which is probably what happened. In the meantime, some people are going to try and sell you some things. Bear with us. I did try and count down from 3 there and then forgot how counting from 3 worked. And I looked like Ted Rogers and Dusty Bin while I was doing that. So welcome back, boys and girls.
Can I just say something, Dan? Can I just say something? We had a comment on last week's show from someone, I forget the name, who said he'd listened for a while and he thought he'd give YouTube a go, this newfangled technology. And he goes, never again. He says, I hope you get paid well from YouTube with all ads that break it up. So I was like,
really?
No, we get about 50p a video, mate.
We get 50p a week. I did read that, Ash. I did read that, and I was thinking, I select the place where they go, and it's that moment where I go. Some people are going to try and sell you some things. I don't understand how. What's YouTube doing?
Well, I don't know if there's like other ads, because that's our ads in our podcast, but YouTube, I think they put their own ads in like every 5 minutes or something daft like that as well. I think.
Do they?
But I don't watch us, so I can't comment. But anyone who's listening now, let us know on YouTube. Yeah, just put in the comments of this how bad it is, because if we're getting if the advertising trying to sell you Jameson's whiskey or Screwfix or something, it's not us. It's not our fault.
We're not getting any freebies at all. None.
Yeah, let us know how many advert breaks there are in this. But in the meantime, chaps, before I get to the bonanza that was the 8-goal thriller at Hillsborough last Saturday, I need to bring something up. So there was an episode I wasn't on 2 weeks ago, and we were talking about prostate cancer. Quite a serious issue, things like that. Now, obviously, the inevitable thing when we're talking about prostate cancer is for the lads to go, well, you have to get checked with the finger up your bum. And I thought that was the way it was. Anybody else? Thought that was the way they did it?
Yeah, kind of.
A long time ago, but it's not anymore. It's a blood test.
It transpires it's a blood test. So I got a very angry message.
You're thinking about Road Trip, the movie with Sean William Scott, where he goes to see.
I'm
trying to see.
It used to be a thing. No, honestly, guys, as I am the older statesman here, it did used to be a thing.
So there you are.
Checking. It did used to be a thing, but it wasn't conclusive that it actually worked, or particularly nice to have it done, so to speak.
Well, yeah, normally that's what they call added extras in Amsterdam. However, I got a very angry message from one of our listeners saying we need to break the stigma around checking for prostate cancer and stuff like that. So I believe now, because it was a personal experience of theirs. I don't want to name names. I don't know if they want me to go public with it, but I got like a good long voice note saying to me that they don't do that anymore. It's a blood test. And if you're around the age that, well, me and Ash are, go get the blood test. So that's how they check for it now. And I promised that I would put that to bed and set a few things right, boys and girls. So there you are. Stifler. I'm just reading some comments there. Someone spelled Stifler wrong and end up, writing some smut. All right. Then. So
either way.
Again, added extra. So we've got a decent result against a Premier League team in the middle of the week. Decent result. What? Oh God. Now listen. I'm trying to be serious about this, and I've just seen that comment come through. Now, boys and girls, if you are listening, this is going to be a frustrating piece of radio. Now, before we put this joke out, I do want to once again say it's a blood test now. They don't put the fingers up there anymore. Now, go on, put Liam's comment up now, Ash. Go on.
No, it was Richard's first, but I've just seen Liam's.
What's that?
Richard, not to brag, but I had my prostate check. I can't even read it. Sorry.
But I had my prostate checked by having a finger up the bell end. Again, it's a blood test, and I'm trying to be serious. I was reading Liam's comment that said,
painful than Saturday's result,
isn't it? I read Liam's comment that said, I changed my doctor because he had hands like Pat Jennings. Once again, it's a blood test. You're ruining me here, kids. You're ruining me. I'm trying to be dead serious. You're absolutely slaughtering me. But I hope I put that to bed. I'll have to clip that bit now and edit out now to get that on the socials just to prove that listener's point. Right then, Ash is now in bits. Now he's
that's what I needed before talking about Watford.
Yeah, he's deceased. So let's take that good mood and that buoyancy from beating Brentford and take it into the weekend. Right then, let's get into it. How are you feeling? I'll tell you what. I'll come to you, John, first. Watford. We've just had a decent draw against Brentford. Thinking first team are coming out, we're playing Watford. Watford can't win away for toffee. It's got Wendy Win written all over it, right?
Oh yeah, I mean it's like you say, all the advantages seem to be pointing in our direction. Like you said, they've been atrocious away from home. I think they've lost 4 or 5 on the bounce. We just come off a positive performance against a well-established now top 10 Premier League team. What could go wrong?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. No can go wrong.
I was feeling very confident, but yeah.
What about you, Simon? How were you feeling about it beforehand?
Oh dear. I actually, out of all of us on our predictions, was the one that actually said that we were going to lose, but only by 2. Watford are one of those teams, aren't they?
Yep.
And I don't think we've ever really had a great results against them in the past, from what I remember. So I thought it'll be tight, but we're struggling to score. Our Achilles heel is putting that ball in the back of the net. And if you go 1 down, like we often do, trying to come back and actually scoring more than them, we've done it. We've had a couple of draws. I think maybe Coventry is the only one, isn't it, where we've actually come back and actually won the game. I thought pardon?
Portsmouth as well.
Oh yeah, Portsmouth. Yeah, but they are bottom of the league. It to me, it was an uphill task, so to speak, but not quite the Eiger, the north face of the Eiger, is what we actually saw.
I looked at this game, and I've said this all season up to now, where I think we are and where we'll finish is round about 12th to 14th. So I look at the games, and I mentioned it. QPR, we drew. Millwall, we got battered. Their teams, Watford, are a bit above that. I think they're going to be like top 10 easily. But with the not winning away all season, Moussa Dembele was out as well. 35 million quid at one time he cost, and he's played every minute of every game this season, I believe, for him. I was pretty confident. I know I went for a draw, but on the prediction, but I was like, as the game went on, especially the first half, I was pretty confident, and I think it's a bit of a kick in the teeth. We can talk about how poor the ref was, and I think he was, but we were the masters of our own demise.
I feel that we will probably pull that thread, actually, Ash. I think you might be right. John, there's the lineup. Back to full strength. Beadle back in the sticks. Palmer getting a start. Valerie Bernard, Iorford, Johnson, Shea, Charles, Barry back in as captain. Windasker, Sama Smith. There's a good 90% of what our strongest 11 is there. Give or take a couple of shirts in terms of injuries and all the rest of it. I felt like we would give these guys a go. I mean, when we went 1-0 down to a really soppy goal, I mean, no one should have that amount of space in the 6-yard box, really, right?
Yeah, it was right before that, you can question whether it was an actual foul anyway on their player, which was gifted them the free kick. But you've got to do better from that free kick. It was dreadful defending. I think it was Gassama possibly trying to get over there, and he was nowhere near him. And he's afforded the time to run to the byline, pick his head up, slide a ball into their man, and it was an easy finish, really, wasn't it? But
crap goal.
I know
it was the guy who got fouled as well who scored it.
Was it?
No.
Yeah.
Man.
Right. You don't want to pick out individuals, but I know it's not our job, but that's what we do. But of course, and for all the good that it wasn't. I just felt that Bannon slides in and tackles into some tackles and stuff, but in the area, he just stood his man, and the guy just got round him too easy. And then Beadle as well. Was the guy too close when he hit it from 7 yards or whatever it was to make a reaction because it was right at him? You look at all those things, don't you? What the individual mistakes, and it's a collective. I know that, but it's just you look at what could have stopped that. And like I said, I think we were the better team the first half. We had quite a couple of good chances. The ref was shocking. We should have had a foul on Johnson just outside their area earlier in the first half. Some of the decisions, like I said, that he didn't help, did it? And I think the frustration from the fans with the ref and obviously as well.
Who was that player that got the softest yellow card I've ever seen in my life? Somebody got a yellow card off him first half. He'd barely done anything, and you know when the refs giving yellow cards for such like innocuous thing like that you're going to be in for a long day, aren't you?
Smith got a yellow, didn't he? But he did kick the ball away.
I think he shouted at the ref. I think that's what they gave it for.
Right, but
it was he just jumped up. There was nothing.
Yeah.
It wasn't even a foul, but it was that, and that's why I think he could dissent, because he just said, "You're having a laugh, ref," or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you what. Let's get to half time. So we've equalised. Who was it? Who was it equalised? It was
Smith.
Smudge, wasn't it? Nice little finish, tight little finish. I will fight anybody who tells me that that's where he was trying to put it. that we have scored some shit goals against Watford. That was the second worst one, the first being Atinuyu volleying it right into the floor.
That goal was brilliant. I've got to say it was a great goal.
The build-up play was amazing.
Johnson to Smith is a cracking combination at the minute, isn't it?
It really is.
Johnson's crossing and the goal, it was slow motion, weren't it? And then you think, oh, he's got that. What are you doing?
It was
keeper. And it was like just in concrete. It was
like the entire opposite to the Pompey goal, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was like just a completely different.
I like a striker that just chucks something at it and it goes in. I feel like if for every Alan Shearer rips Norton into the top bins, there was one where he's just ballooned it goalwards and got one on target and it's gone in, right? Some strikers are like that and I love them for it. Now, John, we went into half time and I was like, tell you what, it's on the cards here. We could take this to him. What do you reckon?
Yeah, 100%. For once, I was disappointed about the amount of injury time. I wanted more because we were definitely on top. And definitely felt like we should have been going in 2-1 up. Finished in the ascendancy on the front foot. So 1-1, I kind of flattered them, I thought, at the end of the first half. The way that we'd gone at them. And obviously you could argue we should have more goals, but that's our Achilles heel right now. So yeah, going into half time, I said to him, hey, this is going well. I think we'll have him in second.
I thought that. I went, oh.
And then he said, who's that playing for them? It's never Tom Ince, that is it? And I went, yeah, it is. He's still playing. I went, yeah. And it all went wrong after that comment.
Yeah.
My mate said exactly the same. He says, is that Tom Ince still playing? I went, yeah, it looks like it. He went, geez, I thought he'd gone years ago.
Me too. Must admit. Now, Ash.
Yes.
Simon. Yes. I'm going to come between the two of you now to see if you can remember the order in which the goals are scored. So, Ash, I'll come to you first. Who scored? It was a penalty, wasn't it? Right? I mean, bear in mind, this is you telling me how it goes. Tom Ince, can't remember the foul. Was that Iorfa?
Handball.
No, handball,
Bernard.
Handball, Bernard. Right, before we continue this, we don't really have much to stand on in terms of whether they were penalties or not, did we? I mean, they were clear penalties.
Oh, blatant.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. We're not going to discuss that.
The second one I offer, you can probably understand he went to make a challenge. It was clumsy, and if you're ever going to make a clumsy challenge in the box, it's always going to be a penalty, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't. It wasn't scything down. It wasn't. Do you know what I mean? He just made a clumsy challenge.
Big old clumsy challenge.
If it had happened outside the box, somewhere else on the pitch, and he'd not stopped playing, given a foul, you wouldn't have moaned about it in a way. But because it's in the box, it's immediately a penalty. It's one of them. It's one of them.
Yeah, definitely. Right. So it was penalty, 3-1. And then what happened, Simon?
Oh, crap. I think it was a ball over the top, was it? Was it a ball over the top?
Is this the nice, cute
From
little flicky one?
Right back.
No, that was the 6-1, I think. I'd gone. It all mulled into one.
I don't
the lad who
remember.
got 4, wasn't it?
I left, so there we go. So
I'll
straight on the
we
table.
were there.
I didn't see it. So,
We were there for the 4th one. Ash, because we saw that. That's when the 4th one in. That's when Ethan looked at me and said,
header.
"Swear word."
Ben's told us. It was the header.
Oh God, it was the back post header. Where
yeah.
I think the keeper could have done a little bit better.
I feel like you're right. But I feel like the third one had already killed it dead. I feel like any momentum that we had would gone in by the end of the second penalty, and I feel like the remaining 2, arguably 3 that Watford scored, I feel like that was a result of us trying to play a high line and push forward and score one. Because now Stevie, what he did, anyway, we lost 6-2. Stevie, what he did was put me together some statistics, graphics here, and this one I found really interesting. So this is possession-wise. They only got 51.6. We lost 16-14 in shots. We lost 8-6 in shots on target. They scored 6 of those 8 targets. Shots off target, we had more in 7, and block shots, they blocked 2. That is not the statistics of a 6-2 drubbing.
I'm going to ask a question that I really should know the answer to this.
Go on.
Is a penalty a shot on target?
I actually have no idea. I don't know how they do it.
I
think
assume
so.
that 2 of those were the pens. That's what I'd put down. So in open play they have the same number of shots on target as us. I'd like to see the statistic for the first half and the second half.
Yeah,
because I think that's equalised itself, because I don't think we barely touched the ball in the second half. They came out a different team, and I think the first half we won the first half, and we should have won. I mean, we've glossed over it a little bit, but Bernard should have had 2 goals in the first half to and I think if we'd been 2-3-1 up, the second half would have been different. But they just came for us. It was a different Watford side. It was almost like they had an extra 4 or 5 players on the pitch. That's what I was like, why can't we get the ball? Why can't we get the ball? And they just swarmed us. They swarmed us, and the 2 penalties then is the right old kick in the ghoulies, isn't it? You like that? And then that was it. Heads are gone. It's not like
I don't think I've heard ghoulies in a while.
And it's not like our heads have gone in the past and we've conceded shitloads of goals, is it? Really, over the last 12 months?
The defense is just defending's just shocking sometimes, isn't it? I think
it is.
Yes.
Probably three out of those 6. If you stop the crosses and the schoolboy defending, you'd not get that, and that's something you've just got to.
I mean, we've all waxed lyrical about Johnson, but I think their 6th goal. I didn't see that live because myself, like Ash, I left on the 4th, but. Johnson, it was almost like Johnson went, you know what, sod it, just have a shot. I can't be arsed.
Yeah, we're 5-1 down, right? We're 5-1 down.
One more.
Yeah. But I wanted to show you those statistics there. So that's Watford on screen there, 51.6 possession. This is Brentford. 29.8 of Sheffield Wednesday's possession. And again, the shots on target, the shots off target, we just let them have the ball and let her play it around and broke when we could. I can't believe how different a story those statistics tell. It's absolutely incredible. And I feel like it's given that was a big loss for me. I felt like that was a bad one. That was a bad one, especially we've got Norwich tomorrow night, and then we've got the game that should not be named coming up. Now, avid listeners will know that we've stopped really previewing the games because we do it online now anyway. But I kind of want to touch upon the derby a little bit, and the reason being, I'll come to you first, Ash, is that there is always a clamour for the players that aren't playing. Charlie in the first episode called it benchitis. When they're not playing, in everybody's head, the other person would have come in and been a lot bloody better. So there's been a clamour for Pato to be playing against Watford, even Pierce Charles to be playing against Watford. You know what I mean? Come on, man. To put the record straight, or do you feel like we could have made some changes from that strong 11?
What, made some changes for tomorrow night's game?
No, so I want to get to the derby
right.
at some point, but just between Watford and Brentford, right? You finished Brentford, you've watched the lads play, and you think to yourself, you're Danny Rule, and you're thinking,
would you be asking that if we'd have won 3-1?
No, not at all. But I'm trying to
it,
quell the benchitis.
It doesn't matter, does it? It doesn't matter. Like, I think it was last week. There was a big thing. A couple of people put out like pictures of Beadle and hundreds of likes. Like, he's really good. And then 6 days later, they're calling for Pierce Charles to be played. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't matter. There's always the questions come after a bit of a hiding, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
The questions don't come when we've won 2-1 away from Portsmouth. Like, if someone had a crap game or something, and go, oh, actually, I know Johnson wasn't, because he's actually been one of our best players this season, but Johnson's been crap, let's bring in Lowe. It's always like that, and you'll never ever get it. If we'd have lost 1-0, we'd have benchitis saying X, Y, Z. We said it even like before Watford. We said about Pato had a great game at Brentford. Should he have started? Do you know what I mean? It's always
people are saying he should, and I find that insanity. I like, come on, man. There's a geezer here playing for a shirt, and he did very well. He did very well for Callum Patterson.
Yeah, there is that, but then surely there's the manager looks at who we're playing, how he wants to play, and he's got to look at, like I said, who we're playing and matching that up with their style of play to our style of play. And every fan will always question managers' decisions when we get a pasting.
Yeah.
And
I saw
it's only the second defeat in 7 games, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, if you take away Brentford as a 1-1, do you know what I mean?
It's just that instant reaction, isn't it? After a terribly bad result like that and a beating, really, and you'll get all sorts of headlines no matter where you look. So if you go on a forum, and I saw one where it says, "Should a manager get sacked for conceding 5 goals at home?" And I'm thinking, should you even ever post ever again in your life, mate? You know what I mean? It's ridiculous.
I saw one that said that James Beadle was no better than Cameron Dawson. Managed to leave it alone though. Well done, me.
Yeah, and it's like,
Brentford,
we stuck his head in the honeypot. It tasted sweet. We didn't get stung that much, and we came out of it looking all right. And then you go to Watford, you stick your head in the honeypot, and you come out looking like John Merrick, the Elephant Man.
John Merrick. There's some punchlines you don't get there every day there, John. Bloody hell. Right then, Simon.
Yes.
Let's just skip past Norwich. We'll put out our predictions online, but I don't want a prediction from you, but I want to know your feelings going into the Sheffield derby this Sunday.
Christ. I actually think that the drubbing may have actually done us a favour, because it shows.
Is the part of you that's kind of annoyed that we've got a game in between it?
Yeah, but no, actually no, because I think we can dwell too much on too much time could be spent dwelling on what's going to happen on Sunday, and on and too much coaching. I think we need another team to get over what happened on Saturday. I mean, somebody's put further up there about resting Bernard. I think that's the last thing we should be doing, because he hasn't played a lot with Iorfa since the start of the season. So those two need to spend more time playing at side of each other to try and.
Card, though, innit? That's what they say.
That just says that the yellow card situation coming into play. Yeah.
But you've got to. There's not enough game time. There's no game time. There's not. On the training field, they're not. It's not the rough and tumble of a full game. But yeah, I suppose if he's on a yellow card, then sod it, he's going to probably have to rest him. But we need to sort out what's happening in the back. United, though, speaking to a lot of United fans, they aren't actually playing that well. They're getting results, but they're not playing that well. So I wouldn't say I'm confident, but I'd be absolutely over the moon with a draw. That'd be amazeballs.
I'll tell you what.
You know,
Listen, I want your comments. I've got about 2 or 3 minutes left of this show. I want your comments coming through so we can put them up on the screen and then let's talk about the derby. Let's take a run up at it because I hate the week up to a derby. I hate it. I hate the fact we have to play them. It does me head in because I feel like it's a distraction from what we're doing, and I feel like if they're honest, they're having the better time of it right now in the league. But I think they don't want it either.
No,
I don't. I think if they ask a pair of them, lads, shall we just call it 0-0 and not play? Yeah, sound fine. You know what I mean? What about you, John? How you feeling?
I'm very much in your camp there, Dan. I don't like the derbies. I've never liked the derbies. They're only enjoyable after the result if you've won or if you've drawn because you expected to get beat. So I don't like the build-up. You know, you've usually got family or friends that support them as well. So then there's all the banter. I just don't like them. I'm relieved when they've come and gone, and hopefully we've done all right in them, or drawn or won, and then, like you say, you can get back into playing teams that you don't care about. So
exactly right. Relieve when come and gone. I'll just make a note of that. Sounds like a lot of my ex-girlfriends. Ash, just I'll let you wrap this up and then get straight into the comments, pal. How are you feeling about the derby coming up?
I don't give two shits, Dan.
Don't give two shits, lads.
I don't give it two shits. I don't care anything about it. I won't be watching. I'll be out shopping or whatever. It's just, mate, I'll go to any game anywhere apart from Bramall Lane and Ellen Road because I just don't care about derbies at all. Nothing about them even interests me. Don't give two shits.
So back in '93 when we were at semi-final, did you watch it?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. 13. No, didn't give a shit.
You watch it?
No. I don't. Honestly, I'm being honest. I don't care. I don't give. Any of the other. How many games do we play? 46 games. 44 games. No, 42 Leeds. Yeah. I'll go to the home game because I have to. I've got a season ticket. Away game. Not interested. So, and I'm probably one of a very small percentage, and I'll get lambasted for it. But I just don't care. I'd rather we didn't play them. I would rather they were in League One, of course, or even in the Premier League, and we were.
So do you have United friends, Ash, or family that are United? Friends
yeah, got any friends, but
no, you, just you lot. No, none of my one of my best man at my wedding. He's a blade, but he doesn't really follow football that much.
So they don't try and do any banter with you out like that then, because obviously you don't watch, do you? So it'd be wasted on you, I suppose, wouldn't it?
Well, and all that, I just don't get it. All the stuff. Yeah, I am. I am very strange. But I don't get all that either. You see it online. Someone put other day on thing, a Sheffield United fan put things that get battered: fish, onion rings, churros. Now I had an issue with that because churros aren't battered.
No, they are battered.
And then Sheffield Wednesday, and I thought you're probably like a 40-year-old.
I have more issue with the fact that churros are in that list. If I'm honest, Ash.
Yeah.
Let's get through some comments and then let's wind up. Go on, Simon.
Is that not a batter anyway? Isn't churros a batter? It is actually.
It's all just
it is actually batter. Just a quick one. You said you hadn't got any friends. You all know my mate Adi. Yeah. His wife's a blade, and so are all her kids.
Ridiculous. Well, I hope there's some marital discourse next Monday. Let's go through that. Go on, Ash.
Craig Haywood, 2-1 Wednesday. We are the underdog. I remember losing there when we were third top and they were third bottom. Us big favourites lost 2-0.
That was 91 or something, wasn't it? I remember that.
Jimmy, 1867. I hope that's not the year he was born. Can we postpone it till next season?
You're older than me.
Here we go, look. David Hall agrees with me. Hate derby days. Just sweat like pregnant nun for ages. I didn't say that, but yeah. Just sweat like pregnant nun for ages.
Sweat like a pregnant nun. Good. I'll tell you what.
We have covered some stuff tonight.
I was just putting some cliches in this evening. And before I wrap this up, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say thank you to you lot outside there. I want to say thank you to Ash, Simon and John. And I also want to say big well done to Sheffield Wednesday ladies who managed to smash a 7-2 win against them Bleeds. away at their gaff as well. They went there, they smashed 7 goals past them. There was a hat trick from one of our girls, and getting the 4th goal was Amy Broomhead, what we sponsor. So jot that down, ladies. Congratulations. Well done. Absolutely top and honour. Thanks a lot for joining us this evening. Don't forget you can download this tomorrow. Don't forget to put like and subscribe and ring the bell. And I will also be doing a Hello from the Other Side with Lewis Southam talking about the upcoming game against Norwich. I was just padding there until I found the button. In the meantime, see you later.
Every week, live from 8 p.m. It's the Wednesday week, bringing you football analysis.
He came in. I think he scored a goal.
Bringing you banter.
Yeah.
Bringing you responsible life hacks.
Met you wonderful souls at 10 a.m. for some shots.
The Wednesday week. 1, 2, 3, 4 live. Available on all social medias.
Obviously, this goes out on YouTube and as well as all the other social media out there for podcasts, etc.
The Wednesday week 24-25 season. Join us.
Put on your podcast.